right, yeah. What's up, y'all? It's me. I'm back. I'm back again. Tonight, we get ready to have, we're going to have a heart-to-heart, y'all. We're going to have a heart-to-heart conversation about some things going on around the Steppers community that I personally feel need to be addressed. And not only do I feel that they need to be addressed, I made it my business to reach out to members of the Steppers community nationally, all over the country. I spoke to people today, and I got some feedback on some things because I wanted to find out for myself what the thought processes were and if they also agreed with some of the things that I also believe need to be dealt with. So hold on, y'all, and we're going to get this party started. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we get started here good, let me start by saying that if you need to get your drink and you need to get your popcorn, you need to get that because it's about to go down. Felicia Walker, I see you. Thank you for checking in, lady. So look, y'all, if you're one of those people around, in and about the Steppers community, and you got sensitive toes, this is the time for you to slip on your steel-toed boots. Because, I think the only people that are going to feel some kind of way about tonight's discussion are those who know that some of the things that I'm about to say are probably going to be referring to you. Now, I'm going to just jump straight on in. There's been a lot of things happening in the Steppers community all over the country. But one thing that has begun to, well, I ain't going to say it just started, but it's been bothering me for quite a while. And that is the levels of disrespect that I see taking place across the country where people are doing and saying things that they probably shouldn't. It's probably very unhealthy. Now, when I say these things are probably unhealthy, you have people, think about it. When we were younger, nowadays making a bomb threat is a big deal. You actually can go to jail for that. But it used to be when people did something wrong or somebody said something out of pocket, like, I'll blow this place up and I'm going to get a lawyer. Those are generally empty and idle threats. But when we talk about this Steppers community and you hear people say things and do things, and it becomes, people get real casual about some of the things they let come out of their mouth. And tonight we're going to talk about why some of those things probably should remain in your head and not out in the public. Val Wells, I see you. Thank you for checking in. I think people believe. Reggie Miles checking in. He said, yes, I was referred to as an 85-year-old mofo. Reggie Miles, I think you're going to get a kick out of this conversation. There are things that are taking place, things that are being said and things that are being done that shouldn't be. And I do believe that there's a lot of misconception about the ramifications for some of these actions and these words. And to quote someone in the community who says that, well, I don't need permission. I'm a grown man. I can do what I want. I'll say this. Understand clearly that for everything that we all say, including myself, no one is exempt. For the actions that we make and the words that we speak, there often are and can very well be consequences for those words and actions. Tread lightly. And I say that not because I'm biased, because I am from Chicago. I am from them streets of Chicago, literally. And maybe I am a little biased because I know every city's got its, its tough areas. But Chicago's a special place. And there's some things that you can't do and some things that you can't say that will probably get you, or back in the day where we used to say, will probably get your head peeled. But I want to start really by saying this right here. If you're in this community, if you're in the Steppin community, and you have no good intentions, and you always want to keep up drama, and you always got a problem, you're a grievance-driven individual, and you have no intentions of respecting this culture, respecting the game, why are you here? Why are you involving yourself in a community that is, for the most part, very peaceful? Why create drama where there is none? Now, we do know that we have people that live in dysfunction and they're happy. They're not happy unless there is drama taking place. And that's unfortunate. However, this can be a very precarious situation if one is not careful. I do believe that there are those who think that when people from Chicago say you should probably not do that, that those are idle threats. Well, I'm going to go out on a limb here and I'm going to say maybe they are, but they just as equally could not be, with great ease. Why do you go, if you have gripes and griefs and all kinds of drama, why do you go to other people's events? Why do you go to disrupt those who love this dance and respect this community and this culture? Why go and cause problems? I don't know the answers for every individual because everyone has their proclivities. But for myself, I want to be able to go to this dance, wherever it may be across this country, for my love of the dance, enjoy the fellowship of the individuals whom I love, whom I've broken bread with, whom I have danced with and enjoyed their company and conversation, because there are some brilliant individuals in this Steppin community. This community is full of resources. And what I don't understand is why, with all those resources and all those brilliant people and all those great minds that we have in this community, why you want to fight people. It sort of reminds me of the guy that shows up at the set. Got all these fine women, in the words of Reggie Miles, got all these beautiful women to hold in the room, but you want a mean mug and want to fight somebody. Brother, we ain't here for that. Now, there was a time, for those of you that are not from the city, please be clear. There were individuals at the set with the right, the ability, and the wherewithal to mean mug, not only mean mug, but give you all you could handle in the process. These same people are dancing among you today. Do not get confused by the colorful suits or the smiles and the laughter. Some of these people literally got 3-4 bodies on them. You don't know that, but they're standing right next to you. You don't need to know that, because all you need to do when you come to the sets in Chicago and across this great nation, all you need to do is come there and dance and enjoy your time like everybody else. Don't make these people return to something. And some of them don't have to return because they're still there. Don't make these people return to something that they try to get away from. There are people who love this dance. And if you don't love this dance enough to respect the culture and the community, maybe you should take a little hiatus. Maybe you should take a little time off. Maybe you shouldn't be here. I'm just saying, this is for the people who are disruptors, interlopers. My quote, I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. This dance don't need nobody. Steppin don't need nobody. Steppin gonna be stepping when most of us are in the ground. The same way there are individuals who was bopping long before I came along, long before you came along. And there are people who are gonna be here when we are gone. Please don't believe or think for 1 second that if you don't show up to a set, that the set is gonna stop. It's not. It don't need you. The set gonna go on. It's going to always go on. The show must go on. If you decide that one day you get in your feelings, and I have heard this before, I ain't going to teach no more. Well, I ain't going to show up to this event. Well, I ain't going to do this, and I ain't going to do that. Shit, don't announce it. Holla. No, we're not going to miss you. Trust me. And I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. We're not going to miss you. Hell, Prince died. I thought, oh my God, Prince died. Oh my God, the music. Believe it or not, people don't really miss him. We miss the fact that we missing out on a lot of new music and shit. But I mean, we talking about a famous, well-loved individual who made great music, something we could cling to. He's gone. And hell, most people forgot that until I just mentioned it. Let's keep it 100. So if you think that people are going to miss you and your attitude and your misgivings and your anger and your mean mug and all that, we're not going to miss you. We're going to keep dancing because we came there to have fun. The show must go on. The show will go on. The whole point behind what we do is to enjoy, to have fun. That's what we're here for. That's it. That's all. You got people out here that's hell bent on trying to make $1, trying to pimp the game. Listen, ain't nothing slick to a can of oil. Please remember, you're dealing with people that's from Chicago, the most gangster city in the nation. If it's any game out there, trust me, we done seen it. There ain't nothing you getting ready to pull we ain't done, seen, or know about. Whole lot of the game got created right there in the city. Don't get it twisted. All right? We got a lot of unscrupulous individuals among us in this community. It's unfortunate, but we do. Now, I'm going to tell you this right here. Do not become one of those people in this community. And I'm going to say this because there are a few, more than a few, but there are certain ones who have a certain level of popularity. And we're going to get on that popularity thing a little later too. There are certain ones who it doesn't matter where you are in this nation. Come on, y'all. I need y'all to share this because the Steppin community needs to see this right here. They need to understand what I'm talking about because this is for everybody. There are individuals who are across this country. It doesn't matter where they are. Every time their name comes up, you never hear anything good. Now, who the hell wants to be that person? Do these people have no friends? Or do they care? Are these the people that I was just talking about a minute ago, the unscrupulous? Those who think that someone needs them? Do they not have somebody to pull their coat and say, hey man, bro, you need to slow down. You're doing it wrong. You got people out here talking crazy about you. Do you care? This is a social dance. Let's remember that now. And in social circles, you should behave with some level of etiquette. Let's remember, some of us don't have no home training. Somebody ought to pull their coat and say, hey, look at here, bro, you're doing the most. Why don't you tone it down just a little bit? You got to have a friend somewhere that'll tell you every time your name come up, ain't nobody got nothing good to say. There are a few individuals whose names have come up in the past around me, and I ain't gonna lie to y'all, because one thing I don't do is bite my tongue. Trust and believe, I will tell you everything that I say and have said straight to your face. Please believe that. There are unscrupulous individuals among us. Now, today, I took it upon myself. I'm fortunate enough to have a lot of people in this community who I enjoy talking to. Some of them I have to block out 3 or 4 hours when they call me because I know it's going to be a long conversation. That's just how it is. But I had some phone calls today, and I made a few phone calls, and I asked a question of each of these individuals while I had them on the phone. And I said, tell me something. Tell me what in your mind is the issue that drives you crazy inside of this game that people do that they shouldn't do. And the thing that amazed me the most, because I talked to promoters, I talked to DJs, I talked to other people, facilitators of the dance, instructors, things like that. And I said, what are some of the things that people should know about this dance, or what is their biggest gripe? And I realized that the great majority of my answers that I received had more to do with other facilitators of the dance than it did with the individuals around the dance and certain habits or things, behaviors that have come out. So that got me to thinking. So really, what I realized is this dance is secondary on a few levels, but it's secondary in the fact that human behavior is going to be human behavior regardless of what the activity is. I was a motorcycle club president for a few years when I lived in Atlanta. I've moved around this country and done a lot of things, and I know a lot of people, and I've always been a student of human behavior. And I realized that no matter what, people gonna be people. So the question becomes, should we be more cautious about the people we surround ourselves with? Because some folks have a relentless and insatiable appetite for nonsense. They just don't know when to quit. So in going through this thing, I also realized that COVID showed me something. COVID-19 showed me that without this dance, there's a whole lot of individuals who really and truly don't have a life. This is their life's blood. This is what they feed off of. They need the popularity of the people. They need the activity of the dance. They need the social interaction, without which damn near kill themselves. Think about how nuts some of these people went during that time. There were people still throwing parties. They kept them quiet. But think about it. Without other dancers saying, oh my God, you're the best, they were nobody. In between the four walls of their own residences, there were nobody. They need to feed off of the social interaction of other people putting them on pedestals. I can say I'm glad that ain't me. And I'm not knocking those who are that way. However, I'm going to say this. If that's you, you should be very cautious. You should not, because here's the other thing. You have people walking around here every day, right? Who, for some reason, and this goes back to the ones I was just talking about a minute ago when I said that they like to, keep a lot of uproar going and what they're not going to do in the dance. And they always making these announcements on Facebook and other social media platforms. I ain't going to do this, and I'm leaving. I'm going to take my dance shoes and I'm going to go home. But guess what? Here's the thing about greatness. Here's the thing about people in this dance who have a certain level of popularity. You don't have to brag about yourself. Your dance will speak for itself. You should be quiet, because those people will give you the accolades you deserve if you actually deserve them. You don't have to sing your own praises. There are individuals who will sing them for you if you are nearly as great as you think you are. You ain't got to say a word. They're going to hold you up. They're going to be like, oh my God, my man is the coldest. Oh my God, this dude. There are people who are smart enough to know when to shut up, be humble, and let their dance speak for itself. You ain't got to prove to nobody verbally how cold you are. You ain't got to run around here and lift yourself up and talk about what other people ain't doing. You ain't got to ask for no accolades. You ain't got to preach to nobody about what you can do. The people going to let you know what they see. And they will sing your praises if you as cold as you think you are in this game. But back again, this dance is secondary to human nature. This dance has given people life. This dance has given people something to live for. This dance has saved lives. This dance has kept people out of addictive situations. This dance has gotten people out of abusive situations. This dance has been the way out for some people. And the last thing they need is a bunch of miserable folks, because unfortunately we do have a lot of people in this dance whose lives are quite miserable. They put on a good show though when we at the sets. They put on a great show. They come in dressed real fly. They come in looking good, smelling good, and can dance their ass off. But everybody got problems. Everybody got them. I don't care who you are. Everybody got them. When we get in this dance, sometimes we get out here and we start dancing, man, and we forget our problems. We got them 3, 4, 5 hours, whatever it is, that set run, or that weekend where we done spent all our money. We done dressed, we done had our clothes cut, we done put gas in our car, we done caught an airplane, whatever. Rented that car, rented that room. We spent that money. But that in itself is the drug of choice, rather than addiction, abuse, and all other things that come with that. That is the addiction. That is the getaway. That is the thing that acts like alcohol and it helps you to cope. Don't mess that up for somebody else because you a sour ass. Don't do it. We need to start respecting one another a lot more in this dance. Now, don't get it twisted. There are certain individuals who, like I said earlier, are relentless in their nonsense. They have an insatiable appetite for stupidity. The thing is, in that, and this is the part that bothers me, they refuse to allow others to enjoy this dance without a bunch of bullshit. I'm gonna just put it plainly. I found out that the people that most had the problems with are actually the facilitators. So then that got me thinking. Y'all know I'm a rabbit hole kind of guy. When I start thinking about stuff, I go down these rabbit holes and I start really getting deep into what motivates and what moves people and what makes people think the way they do and moves them into these different directions, right? Then I thought about it. I said, well, damn, if the facilitators, the promoters, the DJs, and all the people who make these events possible can't get along, can't work out their differences between each other, and it gets into the air, it permeates the air of a Steppin community, what makes you think that the people, the general public, are going to respect each other? At what point do the people who create these events, who DJ these events, because you got DJs that beef with each other, you got promoters that beef with each other, you got people who choose to use dates that other people had set aside. There needs to be a time where promoters in this whole country get together and stop stepping all over each other's toes. See, because you're not just talking about stepping on people's toes, now you're talking about the financial side of it. You're talking about the side of it where you piss people off. We don't have to piss each other off. We don't have to. All we have to do is work together. All we have to do is come together and make a program, make the whole thing work. Now, don't get it twisted. If you got an event going on the East Coast, 9 times out of 10, the people on the West Coast ain't coming. So if it's an event going out on the West Coast and there's an event going on the East Coast, all right, cool. But if we're in the middle of the country and we know that so-and-so got this party going on this weekend and we basically had the same crowd, because all of these step sets do not have the same crowd now. Y'all need to know that. Some crowds are older, some crowds are younger. Depends on the DJ. Understand this. It matters who is DJing your set. DJs bring your people. If certain people hear, oh, this DJ gonna be over here, oh, bet, I'm going. Because that's who's over there. But we need to be able to work together throughout all of this. We need to be able to cohabitate in a respectful way. Because when that happens, the people throughout the rest of the community, the general public, the civilians of the game, they then learn to respect us more, thereby respecting each other more. And it creates a much more harmonious community. We need that. You have people within same cities fighting each other over dumb shit. This should not be taking place. I am happy, so happy, that I have a group of people within San Antonio. We have been able to be mature and sit down and worked our differences out amongst us. It ain't no kumbaya. Everybody ain't in love with each other, but we respect each other's time and space. And that goes a long way. What we have here could be a model for the rest of y'all. Trust me, it works. And it not only protects everybody, it helps make everybody else even more money. See, you got people who think that if they run out here and snatch a crumb off the floor, they getting something. Why you want to fight over crumbs when you can have a whole plate if you just work with the people around you? It's not hard to do. This shit ain't rocket science, y'all. It's not. If the people in this community are the ones creating the chaos, the ones who actually other people look up to, what do you think the people that's in the audience is gonna see? How do you think they gonna act? It's up to us to make the difference in the community. We need to set the standard. All of us who have a voice and a microphone and an event and a DJ and so on, we set the pace for what goes on in this community. We can't expect them to do something that we're not doing. And then y'all got to remember this. We got a new generation of steppers coming up. And I've been saying this. A lot of people are hesitant, reluctant, whatever you want to call it, about understanding the individuals that are coming forward. There's some division in the newer generation of steppers and the older generation of steppers that does not need to exist. Why must there be division? It's the same dance. Part of that problem comes from individuals who are not from Chicago, and I'm going to use that particular phrase, and I'm going to get to why later, who want to try and reinvent the wheel. Stop trying to reinvent the wheel. You're not going to reinvent stepping. You can add all the garbage that you can muster. This dance is going to remain what it always was. Because every time you go back to Chicago, I don't care what you taught somebody in New York, I don't care what you taught somebody in California, when you go to Chicago, the Mecca, the root of the tree that provides the fruit for you to dance from, it's going to be stepping the way we brought it up to be. That ain't going to ever change. And you're not going to change it. I don't care what other dances you know. I could care less. Guess why? I'm a stepper. I'm a stepper from the word go. Been at this shit since I was 11 years old. That ain't going to change. I see other dances. I think they're beautiful. I do. But I'm not interested. And I can tell you for a fact that 99.999% of the people from where I'm from ain't interested either. Of that, you can be sure. I believe that I do speak for the majority of those people. I guarantee you, if I had them all sitting here in front of me right now and we took a survey, you'd find out that I'm not telling a lie. And that's one thing that I'll never do to you on this show. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to give it to you in the raw. You understand me? I'm going to give it to you just like I know it is. Ain't no questions. I tell people right here in my own city, I'm a resource. Use me. They don't. You know why? Because we have people in this city who want to try and reinvent the wheel. I don't get in their way. I just watch them fall on their face. It's your problem, not mine. I'm good over here. Now, But what we going to have to do is respect one another, respect this culture, respect this community. And we're going to have to do better. All attention ain't good attention, y'all. But there are some people who will accept that negative attention in this community just so they can say people know who they are. There's some people out here that's literally starving for attention. There are literally people out here fighting, and I mean that literally, for attention. Let me pause right here and say this. I made a comment on my show when we did the world's largest commentary, and I said that I believe that Drew was the youngest to ever win the Masters, and I was wrong. Maurice Turner was the youngest. I want to make that correction right quick. But what I want to talk about in that, you know, every year, and see, this is where I'm going to start getting into the mud a little bit. Every year, we have our world's largest dance competition. And every year, I hear people make comments where they say things like, oh, it's rigged. Oh, this, all that. They, you know, people gripes, the gripe crowd, you know, the grievance crowd. But I'm going to say this right here. If you think what I'm lying to you about when I say Chicago has its roots, I got the perfect example for you. It don't get no more perfect than this. In the Masters category, Mr. Drew Ray Alexander won that competition. And I'm going to tell you something that some of you may know and some of you may not, because there are people who are not from Chicago who don't know the history, and they'll tell you, I don't need to know the history. I don't need all of that. Now, remind you, these are probably some of the same people who are complaining about how this competition is rigged. But now let's all remember that Drew is from Detroit. Drew is also a very young man. I believe Drew is 31, 32, something like that. But let me show you why Drew won the Masters. Let me give you one example. I'm not going to give you the full, but I'm going to give you one example. There was a particular turn that Drew did in that dance. Not the one where he lifted her up, but there was a specific turn that he did. That turn was reminiscent of a famous Chicago stepper. And if you had told me back in the day that there would ever be any famous Chicago steppers, I would have probably laughed in your face. But the older people who had been around the game forever, who were there, the ones who know, they saw that turn and they recognized it. Those judges who were sitting up there recognized it. I recognized it when I saw it because I thought to myself, I haven't seen that since a fella named Lil Alfred did it. Now, Drew did mention on Sippin' Tea with Tika, the tea lady who was on the live, by the way, hey Tika, as he was interviewed on her show, he mentioned that he was paying homage to that dancer when he made that move. Now, let me show you something. If you don't know your history and you haven't studied this dance the way that man has studied this dance, so you want to know why Drew is a master? Drew is a master because Drew is a student of the game. He respects the game, okay? He knew enough about this dance and its history to put something in there that throws back to another generation. Now, how many people can say they study the dance that deep? You want to win, you got to do the work. It's as simple as that. Drew was smart enough to surround himself with people who know to pull his coat if he's doing something wrong. He surrounds himself. That man said on that show, he said, I have a mentor. Now, how many of us, how many men, my fellas out there, how many of y'all can say, I have or I had a mentor? I have a man in my life that is helping me to hone myself into a better man. Steel sharpens steel. Men sharpen men. But you know, you got some fellas out here that think Ain't nothing for them to be told. They think that another man can't tell them nothing. And those are usually the ones that end up falling on their faces. Okay? I'm telling y'all. I'm not telling you what I think. I'm telling you what I know. When you don't know the history and you haven't studied, you wouldn't know or you wouldn't recognize that simple turn one time that was done by Drew in that dance. For most people, it just went over their head because they don't know. So if you think for 1 second that you can be an instructor from somewhere else, or you can be a person who doesn't care about the culture or the history and you don't know these things, and you want to run up there and talk about, I'm going to go to the world's largest, we going to win. How much do you really know about this dance? How much homework have you really done? How much time have you spent around people and the discussions? See, forget the dance. I was fortunate enough to interview Sharnice Simmons, Shah Rashan Studio, 69th King Drive in Chicago. I was fortunate enough to interview her, and I asked her in that interview, I said, Sharnice, it is my belief that this dance, the actual dance itself, it only consists of about 50% of the dance. And she said, nah, baby, 10%. She checked me, 10%. Because again, human nature prevails. See, you got to remember, outside of this dance, we're all still people, and we have to recognize each other as such. But you also have to remember that a really good Steppin class really starts with conversation, really starts with understanding, really starts with people knowing why they're doing what they're doing, not just showing you how to do it. Don't get that part comes. That's the easy part. Understand what you're doing and why you're doing it and how it came to be. And I promise you, it'll make your journey so much smoother. That's why when you see people, they get up one day and they finally get to Chicago. And then they go, now I get it. All the light bulbs in the world pop on. Oh, now I get it. And all they had to do was be in the room with that energy and watch how people move and watch how people do what they do. Trust me, it'll change your life. You got to get there. But now when you get there, unlike some folks, don't go there with an arrogant attitude. Don't go there like you know everything. Even if you have people there who take you under their wing and tell you, we got you, still be very careful if you are a cocky and arrogant individual, because you might be skating on some real thin ice. Oh, I've seen it up close. It's not pretty, and it'll give the whole game a black eye. We don't want that. This is why I'm having this conversation today. See, I do these shows as educational material. This is to teach. This is not to threaten, demean, belittle, diminish, or marginalize anyone in this game. It is food for thought. Now, if you're feeling some kind of way about some of the things I said, maybe you need to check yourself. I'm not done. In order for you to get this dance, you got to go to the root. If you want the proper information, you got to go to the root. The root bears the fruit, not the other way around. You're not going to go out here and get someone that has not been fed through those roots and expect to get a bounty from it. Not going to happen. I know a lot of people believe that it can, and you have, again, a lot of unscrupulous individuals within this dance who intend to have you in their presence for one sole purpose, and that is to pimp you out and get your money. Trust me when I say this. I've witnessed it. I've watched. I've seen people spend, and when I tell you I've seen people spend thousands of dollars, I mean that on everything I love, and I feel bad for those people. I can't do anything about it except try as hard as I can to reel them in and give them the information that they need in order to progress. Because there's nothing worse than seeing somebody that's been doing this and they tell you, oh, I've been doing this for 10 years. I've been doing this for 8 years, and they still can't dance. And the sad part is these instructors won't tell these people that just because you learned how to do the basic, that you're still not dancing yet. You in the game, don't get it twisted. You can go to a set, you can have fun. But if you really want to be a complete dancer, number one, you're not going to get this whole dance from one person. You're going to get it from multiple people. But you have to be smart enough to understand, and unless somebody shows you this, you have to be smart enough to understand that you're going to get a piece from him, you're going to get a piece from her, you're going to get a piece from over there. However, all instructors are not created equal. Understand that. All instructors are not created equal. There are instructors who charge you a lot of money. Some of them are worth it. There are instructors who charge you a lot of money and they ain't worth it. This is why you need to vet people. This is why you need to make sure that the people that you're dealing with, now maybe I'm biased, but I'm going to just say this, and this is not to dump on no other instructors across the country. But if they have not been trained by somebody that is literally from Chicago, that is a competent, qualified instructor, don't waste your money. If they charging you every week and you're not progressing in your dance, if you don't see any progression in your dance in 3 months, 6 months, you need to get away from that person. I'm dead ass serious. Now, I ain't knocking nobody hustle. But at the same time, I don't want to see the people in this dance get ran off. And I have seen that too. I've seen people who have left this dance, walked away and said, oh, this was too complicated. This is not rocket science, y'all. It's a dance. We learned this dance before there was an 8 count. We didn't know nothing about counting to 8 in this dance when I came up in it. There was no such thing. Chris Cheney says, what is qualified? Chris Cheney, I'm going to give you this here. Qualified can mean a lot of things. Qualified means accepted. Now that may seem, and that right there is only temporary. The reason I say being qualified as being accepted is temporary is because it is coming to pass that there will be certifications in this dance. It's coming. It's already in place. Now, qualified means that your peers, the people around you, respect what you do. And now check this out. How many times have we been somewhere and people who we know for a fact are competent instructors who literally have had students win the world's largest, win competitions, outdance everybody on the floor? I would say that person was qualified. But I can tell you this much. There are 10,000, better yet, I'm going to use Reggie Miles' number, 9,875 instructors to go with them 9,875 turns who truly do not know what they're doing, who are taking your money every single week and they have nothing to show for it. See, here's my theory about instructors. If you are an instructor and you are as cold as you say you are, like I said earlier, you don't have to talk about how good you are like a lot of instructors do. They're going to sell you on how great they are, right? But if they were as great as they say they are, other people would be telling you, go there, that's where I learned my dance. Now, I can honestly say that, for example, Sharnice Simmons has multiple people who have qualified, placed, won in world's largest. I would say she's qualified. Now, Chris Cheney, there is information available. You need to check with Mr. Josiah Burt. Now, I'm not going to go back over that. We've done a show about it. Yes, they say they certified. They will be certified legally and binding. Trust me on that one. It is there, and it is coming, and it is a thing. Okay. You heard it here first. In case you hadn't heard it before, I'm telling you now, this is coming. This dance has been organized. It is now in the Library of Congress, legally, legitimately. And if you don't believe me, you can look it up yourself. In fact, y'all are about to see some things happen that have not happened in Steppin before. Now, I'm going to get off of that. But again, we need to go to the source to get this culture, this history, and this knowledge in order for this dance to be what it's supposed to be. You have people who, again, want to reinvent the wheel. They genuinely do. Why? Because they are so ego driven that they think that, well, if I add this step and I add this move right here, then, and I believe it was Reggie Miles on his show that said, well, if that's what you want to do, then call it wherever you live Steppin, not Chicago Steppin. Because Chicago Steppin is very specific. Trust me, it may not have been on paper up until now. It's on paper now, but trust and believe. People from the crib know exactly how it goes. Trust me. Say Wands, thank you very much. That was a great show with Josiah Burt, and I'm going to tell my man Chris, you need to go back and check that show out with Josiah Burt, and you'll find out exactly what I mean when I say this thing right here ain't no they say certified. No, it will be, and it is being certified. Real instructors, people who are competent, capable, and ain't gonna just take your money without giving you something for it. Now, who better to get the information from than those who were there, than those who know? I would say qualified as an individual who's been doing this for 30 or 40 years, and we do have plenty of those. Some are actually instructors. Others won't instruct nobody. I'm one. I'm not going to, I'm going to tell you straight up. Because I've had people ask me, well, show me, teach me. I'm not getting ready. I'm not hanging that label on my back. Here, but check this out. Do this right here with your feet. I'll give you that. It's free. Because that's how I got it. It was free to me. I got the game for free. I got the game because I was there. I got the game because I was able to stand up and do my dance and get down like that. Chris Cheney, you watched it and you have folk that tell me they're certified right now. Well, if they haven't been certified through this, what you saw in that show, then they're not certified. What they're certified for, understand this, Chris. In order for you to be certified in something, there has to be a foundation for it. And if these people have not laid out a foundation, and that foundation legally, and this is according to all other dance genres, has to be laid out verbally, it has to be laid out in writing, and it has to be able to be demonstrated according to the way it is written. Now, every last one of those steps, every last one of the movements that we make in this dance has literally been documented by Josiah Burt. And he will tell you himself, this ain't for him. This is for Chicago. He could literally single-handedly hold this down if that's what he was on, but he ain't on that. He's like me. We give back to this dance because we love this dance. It ain't got nothing to do with trying to make money off of people. Yes, if they have not been certified through Chicago Steppin Academy, they're not certified. And I'm telling you that, and I mean, and it's legal. It's legally binding. It is written, period. It is done. Can't nobody else do that. Now, I know we've heard stuff like that before, but trust me when I tell you this, I wouldn't be saying it. I promise you I would not be saying it because I don't say things on here that are fictitious. I'm telling you this because I know it to be a fact. I only talk facts, period, nothing more. Be wary of anybody in this dance who is ego-driven and call themselves an instructor. They're trying to they're going to get a quick buck out you. They're going to get that money and they're going to keep it moving. We have instructors all across this country right now who run around here. They run from one person's place to the other trying to collect money. And they'll always try to sell their way of doing things over the dance itself. Pay attention. All you got to do is pay attention. They will show you how Maya Angelou said, when a person show you who they are, believe them. Mm-hmm. Not tell you who they are, show you who they are. Chicago has the most complete DNA for this dance, kind of like an African woman. An African woman can create everything on the planet. There are people in Chicago who have the entire DNA of this dance. Patricia Garrett says, so do we ask them to show they have been certified? Well, Patricia, at this particular moment, there are individuals who are being certified. As it stands at the moment, until that thing really grows the way that it should, which it will very soon, I would say just, continue to move about, but move about with people who have a reputation of being good instructors. Let's face it. We've operated off the reputation system in this dance for a long time. Some people have good reputations and others don't. What can they prove? What can they show you that they've done that is reputable? Can they point to an individual whose dance is so immaculate that they're so good that they can say, well, I trained that person. Now, I had somebody try that one time. Told me who they trained, and I called that person right there to where we were, and I said, did this guy train you? And he looked like a damn fool. See, they gonna lie. Don't get it twisted. People gonna lie. That's what they do. Especially when it comes to the social climate that goes with this dance, and we're gonna get into that next. If you think you've been misled to believe that you can get a more complete description or explanation for this dance from unscrupulous individuals, I feel bad for you. You cannot and you will not substitute the experience and knowledge of the people who were there. Period. It's just not possible. You can't do it. I've seen a lot of people sit up and lie and say, well, I was there, I was here, I was there. Trust me, there are people still within this dance who know whether your ass was there or not. And there are a lot of liars running around out here now. And it goes back again to what I said earlier about unscrupulous individuals in this dance and why we need to get away from all of that. The fact is, many of us, we're getting older. There are those who I looked up to in this game who are older than me, many of whom are falling off these days. So the fact is, there has to be a point here, because my personal belief, and I talked to somebody the other day about this, I see a changing of the guard happening. I see the younger generation beginning to take this dance over. I mean, let's face it. Some of us done got older. Some of us got bad knees, got people with bad hips. You got a whole bunch of stuff going on. And they're not moving, can't move the way we used to. Ty Skippy is a freak of nature. He still moves like he did when we were younger. That's insane to me, but he still can do it. But you ain't gonna run into a bunch of him. The fact is, we have a changing of the guard. Times are changing. We have a new generation coming up. And in the words of Pete Frazier, let these young people make their history the way we made ours. Y'all hear what I said? See, we've been very critical of a lot of the young people and some of the things with them coming up in the dance. We've been very, we want to sometimes say, oh, they don't know what they're doing. But here's the facts. If they don't know what they're doing, whose fault is that? It's kind of like a parent-child relationship. If you haven't given your child home training, if you haven't taught your child what they need to know, of course they're going to come out here in the world and they're going to do dumb shit and they're going to make you look bad. It's the fault of the elders if these young people are not getting the game correctly. But it's also the fault of the elders when we don't make a way respecting one another so that they see how to respect runs and they follow suit. If we out here always jumping them down at each other, what you think they're gonna do? Reggie, I know you're gonna make me say this. The bop is coming back, y'all. Walking is coming back. We actually had a little walking session last night here in San Antonio that my wife and I facilitated, and I believe we have a good little group of walkers right here in San Antonio. You would be proud of us, Reggie. But you need to go to the root of the source in order to get some of this information. And we just need to, But now, what we don't want to do is discourage the younger people. Stop the divisions. Stop trying to find ways for everybody to be separated. We did this and we did that. It's kind of like people from Chicago. And see, this is something that I got a problem with. Some of the people, we leave Chicago and we go other places and we go, oh, I'm from Chicago. Man, don't nobody care. When you're in Rome, you do as the Romans do. However, in light of some of the things that have taken place in recent weeks in the Steppin community, let me let out-of-towners know something who go to Chicago. Don't go to Chicago with your chest stuck out talking about, I'm from so-and-so. Because people in Chicago generally don't like each other anyway. But I promise you, them same people that don't like each other, they'll get together and whoop your ass. Just don't do that. Go and dance. Have a good time. And leave it at that. I'm just saying. The young people are the next history makers. They're the ones that are about to bring the game forward. So in order for us to pass the torch, we must keep the torch lit. And we must make it so that they can carry that torch and be happy and proud doing it. And they're going to take, and they can be like the Drews of the world and reach back and do something to show homage to those before them out of respect. Just respect the game. That's all I'm saying. Show the game respect. Show yourself respect. And the game will be natural. Like I said, to quote Pete Frazier, let them make their history the way we made ours. Because there'll be some behind them. There are those who made history before us. And we try to pay homage and respect to them. Let's continue that trend and keep this dance alive and growing into the future. Now, in regard to some of the gripes that I got from some people across the country, one, and again, it goes back, it was funny to me because I was looking for gripes that people had with other people, but I realized that it was a promoter and instructor and DJ thing. And I was told that by one individual that DJs need to pay attention to their crowd. So don't have a DJ at your set that's having his own party by himself. Again, DJs make your set. If you got the wrong DJ, people go, I don't like that guy. Because I'll be honest with you, as a flourishing DJ myself, there are particular DJs that I am a fan of. There are other DJs that I'm not a fan of. Great people, love them. I just don't like their style. And that's just how it is. But the way I feel, the average person feels as well. If you say certain DJs are coming to your set, bang, you're gonna have the room gonna be packed out. You have certain other DJs that's coming to your set, not so much. So, I was also told today that if a person who is popular in this dance shows up to your event out of the clear blue sky, it is not to take away from your event. It is not to, and this is not people that's on your ticket, just people that, they're there to support. So let us remember, people, that anybody who comes through your door and is willing to pay whatever your price is for that set, then they're supporting you. They are spending their money and they expect to have a good time while they're there. It is up to you as a promoter and a DJ to make sure they get that. Here's the thing, y'all. I'm starting to notice an uprising of male testosterone in some of these sets. You got some people running around out here, and here's the sad part. The ones that are doing it ain't even from Chicago. And they're going to Chicago with this sort of, I'm a tough guy. I'm from this city. I'm from another city. I'm a tough guy. I know how the streets are. Trust me when I tell you, no, you don't. I know you think you do. And here's what I mean. Chicago is a very special place. Chicago's probably the only city that I know of where 12 and 13-year-olds will push your cap back quick. Chicago has been a city of organized crime for as long as Chicago damn near has been Chicago. Please don't go there with an attitude or thinking that everything is sweet. Even though you might have a pass, you got a hall pass to move around, be careful. Be careful who you align yourself with. You don't know what else is going on in that city. Do you understand that there are literally wars going on with people around there? And they generally don't involve civilians. Stay out these people's way. Just go there, be quiet, and dance. Now, there are individuals out here, and I know people are probably thinking, well, why is he saying that? They know who they are. Because I can assure you, if I know about it, it ain't a good look. And the consequences of words and actions are going to give this entire community a black eye. Just stop. Go to Chicago. Enjoy your dance. Go home. Mouth shut. Y'all heard me say that. I don't want to have to revisit this conversation because I don't want to have to tell y'all that I told you so. Let's not go there. Let's keep it neat, y'all. I have had to caution a few individuals that you think that because you're there and a couple of people have befriended you, I need you to understand something. Them same people, if you're not very careful, will be the very ones where you'll meet your demise. Stay out of people's way. Be nice. Smile, go to the set, have a good time, get on a plane, get in your car, whatever you do, and go home. Stop with all of the disrespect. Stop with all the madness. Again, there are consequences for words and actions. We can do whatever. Val Wells said, you are a guest. And that is, Val, thank you. I couldn't have put that no plainer. You're a guest. Don't think you won't get kicked out. I promise you, if you're lucky enough to get kicked out. There are individuals who, and this is another pet peeve that came up from another couple of promoters. There are individuals who like to run around the country and run up behind people's sets and do their own thing. They want to give a workshop over here and this and that. Well, here's the thing, and it's unacceptable. Well, let me put it this way. You're grown, you can do what you want. That's what people do. They're adults. That's fine. It's a free country. But what about respect? What happened to that? What happened to just respecting people? How long do you think being disrespectful is going to play out? And here we are. We have people in this dance who've taken it to a whole nother level who actually think that they're gangster. And they think the things that they're doing is gangster. I'm going to do what I want. I'm a gangster. Why do that? And if these people were in agreement, which I was told in a couple of occasions that they were, if these people agreed with you, why didn't they just have you on their ticket instead of all this backdoor carpet bagging? What happened to respect? See, that's that trying to make a buck. That's that banging for a buck. You're going to run around here and let me see if I can bottom feed. Let me bottom feed off somebody this week. Let me go bottom feed all that. Oh, they giving an event over there. Oh, let me use their flyer. Let me bottom feed. I'm going to throw a set this day. I'm going to get that money. These people, I'm going to get. Your bottom feeder. Respect. Have some respect. Man, let me stop. See, to me, that's sadistic and glutton. That's just sadistic behavior. You know, you fighting for acceptance. You want to be accepted. You want to be seen. You want to be known. If you was as cold as you say you are, you wouldn't have to do all of that. You wouldn't. It would come to you naturally. Like I said at the beginning of this show, if you ain't got your steel toes on, I feel bad for you. But I said what I said. So there it is. There's a lot of people that think they connected in this thing. All I'm going to say is tread lightly, because the streets are talking. I don't get into gossip. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Respectfully, I'm just saying. A lot of people want to be popular. You got a lot of people who want a social climb. They want to drop names. Oh my God, if I had a quarter for every time somebody dropped a name trying to prove to me that they knew this person, or whoa, I know this. Stop. Just stop it. I don't want to know. Not only do I not want to know, I don't care. I don't care who you know. You either cool with me or you ain't. If you ain't never done nothing to me, 9 times out of 10, whether I like what you do or don't do, what's up, Playboy? And I'm going to keep it moving. Then there are those who, I don't mind kicking it with. I got plenty of people in this dance that I break bread with. There are plenty of people in this dance who I know their government names. I go way back with them. Everybody don't need to know that, though. I'm not getting ready to sit up here and tell, oh yeah, well, me and so-and-so shit, man, we used to. No, I'm not about to do that. You don't even need to know that. It was a time back in the day, I can remember many a night, bunch of us would be sitting up in Chick Rick's. Shit, the whole bar be full of cats I know. We ain't sitting up there chopping it up and, hey man, hey, waving all across the bar. We sit there and drink our drinks. Come in, see my man sitting across the bar, I might nod at him. I might even send him a drink. We ain't out here cheerleading for each other. We don't have to do that. But I promise you this, you get wrong, the whole bar gonna jump on your head. I'm just saying. You'll never even know them was my people. That's how people in Chicago roll, in case y'all didn't know that. See, there's so many things about the culture outside of this dance, the rules, the code that people in Chicago have that people outside their city don't understand, which is why they get themselves in trouble. And for a very long time in this dance, there have been a lot of disrespectful things said and done. You know what happens when an earthquake finally erupts? It's because you got two plates. They tectonic plates. They doing this. They sliding little by little by little. They're not supposed to be sliding, but they slide. And then one day they let go and boom, everything breaks. Them tectonic plates are sliding. I don't want to see an earthquake in Steppin, because it's not going to be a good look for nobody. It's going to get a whole game of black eye. I just want everybody to chill out, be quiet, and dance. That's all you got to do. It's real simple. Don't be trying to call nobody out. Don't be talking about calling people fake gangsters. Don't be making them type of statements, because all you doing is lining yourself up for a downfall, because it's only going to be so long that people are going to continue to take all that. They're getting tired. Reggie Miles said you cannot talk negatively about Chicago legends. No, Reggie, you can't talk negatively about a whole lot of things when it comes to Chicago and then go there and think that you're going to walk freely around. Now, this is not, I want y'all to understand, this is not no type of threatening, none of that. I'm stating facts. I'm born and raised on 79th Street. Trust me when I tell you, it's just there's certain rules and codes that we have. A lot of stuff has gone and people have gotten away with a whole lot. Ooh, man, talk about the passes that have been handed out. Let's stop right here. Let's stop with all the disrespect. Let's respect. When you go to other people's cities, I don't care if it's Chicago, I don't care where you go. Respect them people in their city. Go to their city and understand that you are a visitor. Enjoy your dance and go home. Because I'm not going to lie to you. When it comes to visiting other people's places, I'm going to almost always go with the home team. Why? Because they're home. They have the advantage. Don't go to other people's homes running your mouth. Don't run up in other people's cities talking crazy. You don't know who's around. You don't know who's listening. You don't know all them people. You don't know who's watching you. You don't know why they're watching you. Be quiet. Dance. Make it home safely. It's real simple. We don't travel all over the country and spend all this money to go somewhere to be hassled, to go through a bunch of changes. You're asking for trouble. Don't be coming from Chicago, running up somewhere. I'm from Chicago, blah, blah, blah. I done seen a couple of them. Man, listen, I done seen some cats get sent home in a box for that very conversation in places you would have no idea how they got out. Why? Because you thought you could go to other person's home and disrespect them. All I'm saying is, stay in your lane. Let's respect one another, y'all. Let's begin a trend of respect. Even if you don't like somebody, let's try and respect them. Let's try to respect their space, their time, their energy, their money. Let's try to do that. This is an educational show, y'all. I'm putting things out there because clearly, there's some things that folks just don't know. And I'm real quick to remind folks, it ain't what you think you know. It's the part you don't know. That's where the ice is. That's where you're going to slip and fall. It's what you don't know. It's that black ice that you can't see, that you're going to slip on. You're going to bust your head. Slow down. Now, another interesting thing came up. Because Steppin makes certain people popular, there are men who tend to crack out of turn and act a little strange. Well, I was told by a woman, a female promoter, this is the men's fault. I'm sorry, it's the women's fault. Why? Because the ladies let men get away with way too much. Women are not holding us accountable for some of our behaviors. If they did, we probably wouldn't act so badly sometimes. I think I agree with her to some degree. I think I do. The social climate. We have people, like I said, name dropping, want to take pictures with everybody so they can say, look who I was with. They want to post it on Facebook. We already talked about it, the conversations and that sort of thing. Ladies and gentlemen, there is an etiquette to this dance, and there's an etiquette to the way we treat one another, and we should begin to try as hard as we can. You don't have to make everybody else behave. If you behave and that other person is like you and they're behaving, none of us have to say anything to the other one. Everybody will be behaving and it'll just be beautiful all the way across the board. We will have everything we need to get what we got to do. Can we bring back old class like our, oh yeah, okay, look, I just got a note in here on my desk that says, can we please bring back class? Can we and when I say class, I ain't talking about instruction. I'm talking about class. Whatever happened to class? Listen, back in the day, and I know y'all, this is, let me give it to y'all like this. Back in the day, when we came to these sets, we were dressed. We had some class. We had enough home training and class not to leave our houses looking like anything. And when we got to the set, we was what? Step sharp. Hell, when I was growing up, men got up every day and put clothes on and looked like men. We wasn't jumping up wearing Jordans every day or boots every day. We wore shoes like men do. Now, I'm older, and I guess that's just my way of seeing the world, and I don't want to alienate the younger crowd because they do things differently. But there was a certain level of class that came with this dance that, I would love to see us get back to that. But I also know that the way the world is these days, we're not going back to anything. We'll never go backwards. That's the tragedy in some of the things that we do every single day in our lives. We want, when we going to get back to the time when people did this and people did that? We're not. You have to make adjustments. Just to give you a prime example, you have older people who don't deal with social media. Oh, I don't want to be on social media. The people on there crazy. Everything on there is negative. Well, that's not true. Because if you surround yourself with a bunch of people that's negative, of course, that's what you're going to see on your page. But I don't. I don't see negativity on my page. Why? Because number one, the people who know me know better. Because they know I expect a particular standard. And I won't accept anything less. Otherwise, I will block or boot your ass quickly. No problem. Then there are people who refuse. I don't want to use a computer. I don't want to do this on my iPhone. But guess what? The world we live in today, you must use social media, a computer, a cell phone. You can't even fill out an application no more, damn near, unless you got a computer, cell phone, or some electronic device. You're not going to get around it. If you are a person who you want to write somebody a letter and they tell you type it out. Oh, you're going to use a computer, you're going to go pull out that old typewriter. Either way, you're still going to have to scan it because it's got to go electronically to wherever it's going to go. Think about the people who resisted technology and where they are in the grand scheme of life right now. That applies to everything that we do today. We cannot continue to reject the way things are going. We can try to make them better, but we are not going backwards. We're not going back to anything. We're not going back to this time when. It ain't going to happen. Time is gone. That's money spent that you can't get back. There's no refunds on time. All we got is this moment that we're in and hopes for the future. So what we can do, if we know the direction that we're headed in, because we know where we've been, we can try and direct the future into a place where we can all be satisfied, happy, and cohabitate and show mutual respect that allows us to move forward together. Without that, we have nothing. We got to move forward, but we got to do it together. Otherwise, what are we? We just fall apart. Respect, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I want to see. All right. Oh, I have one last thing that I want to say. And this came from a promoter. And I'm glad this is the last thing that I'm going to say, because it applies to more than just the promotion of events and things of that nature. This applies to us all, myself included. If you, as an individual person, and some of us are more harsh than others, if you are a person who has wronged someone, you've done something that you know wasn't right, take the time and just apologize. Just say, I'm sorry. I made a mistake, or I'm sorry that, this happened, and maybe we can find a happy medium. When you're wrong. We all do. We know when we make mistakes. We know when we've done something that we didn't have any business doing, and we did it anyway. You know you owe that person an apology. You know you was dead ass wrong. You know that you need to straighten that out. My charge to you. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you are. I don't care what the problem was. My charge to you tonight, like my man said, let's straighten it out. Straighten it out, y'all. Find that person that you know you wronged. If it's involved in stepping, it don't matter. Don't matter what it is. Straighten it out. Find a way to straighten it out. Find a way to say. And don't get me wrong now, if they don't accept it, that's something else. But and if you go do that, at least you'll know that you tried and you did your part. But if you know that you did something wrong, see, one of the problems in this, what I'm saying is that too many times people do wrong and they're too ego driven and they're too defensive to understand or want to say. They want to find a way to say they wasn't wrong. Well, guess what? If you didn't think you was wrong, you wouldn't be looking for an excuse to say that you wasn't. You tell on yourself. Respect, y'all. Find somebody that you've wronged and correct it. Make it right. Say I'm sorry. Apologize. Do whatever you need to do. And let's start respecting one another in this dance once again. And I think we'll be okay. I know this dance is going to continue on with or without us. And we can all, I could drop dead tomorrow. It's going to keep going. There's a multitude of people in this dance that could drop dead tomorrow. It's going to keep going. It's not going to stop. We're going to keep on stepping. We're going to step on, steppers. All right. I'm getting up out of here. And all I can say, y'all, is I'm going to see you on the wood. I love you. Thank you for tuning in. Please, please, please share this, because there's some people out here that need to see it. But make sure you warn them before they turn it on. Put on their steel-toe boots. And then they might be all right. Y'all have a good night, y'all. I love you. Peace.